After an unprovoked attack on Praefortis Planitia, Confederation Command would be forced to temporarily alter its starship construction plans, and out of necessity, the Jameson Class would be born. But what do we know about this strange, reactionary starship design? Well, today we'll find out. Hello and welcome to another episode of Truth or Myth Beta Canon, a Star Trek web series that dives into the history of any given topic using beta canon sources and my own imagination to fill in the gaps. In today's episode, we're taking a look at the Confederation Timelines Jameson Class to better understand its place in Star Trek history. Please note, as we continue our dive into the Confederation Timeline, I introduce you to another class kitbashed into existence by me, that I named the Jameson Class. Though not perfect, it does get the job done. Inspired by the Niagara Class of the Prime Timeline, this Starship class resembles that unusual class only superficially, and I hope you enjoy my explanation as to why that is. But of course, and as always, because this is just a bit of fan fiction, all information relayed should pretty much be taken with a grain of stardust and only considered a little bit of Star Trek fun. And so, with all that out of the way, let's begin. The alien resistance was running scared. The successful production and launches of so many of the Worldraiser, Hellraiser, and Suppression classes was seen by the terrorist organization as a direct threat to their continuing plans to destroy the Confederation. Not believing in the so-called Borg threat, the Resistance instead believed that these classes were being built to destroy worlds throughout the galaxy, and so they hatched a devious plan to prevent the Confederation from continuing their shipbuilding efforts. Brainwashing loyal Praefortis Planitia shipyard workers, they would force these Confederation citizens to plant several bombs throughout the Mars shipyard. Praefortis Planitia, being the primary construction facility for the Confederation, had set up an assembly line type process for all the Starship classes that they were constructing, with different areas building the different components required for each class. Completely assembled in a central staging area, the Resistance plot was to destroy each of these areas, preventing the facilities from pumping out their necessary components. Fortunately for the Confederation, the plan would ultimately fail, though not completely. Confederation intelligence, receiving intel of the plot, would work with the Praefortis Planitia command staff to stop the suspected terrorist attack, saving the facilities in charge of construction of the primary hull components as well as the warp nacelle construction area. The secondary hull construction facility, however, would not fare so well, with slightly over 50% of the bombs actually going off, making that facility unusable. But rather than shutting down Starship production, one of the shipyard's leading Starship designers would come up with a plan to keep the facility pumping out Starships at almost an 80% capacity. Realizing that the old Subjugation class secondary hulls could be easily converted to hold the new technology of Project Worldraiser, Chief Argyle would propose using these decommissioned secondary hulls as a stopgap, making slight adjustments to this new class itself, and then sending them on their way. Confederation Command would approve the plan almost immediately, and in short order, the Jameson Class would be born. Sitting at a length of 591.8 meters, the Jameson Class was designed to be operated by 700 officers and crew members. Containing a third nacelle attached to the bottom of the vessel, the Jameson Class would have a standard safe cruising speed of warp factor 7, with an emergency maximum speed of warp factor 9.3 for 12-hour increments. Like all of the Project Worldraiser classes, the Jameson Class also contained a transwarp drive. Hoping to increase her transwarp velocity over her sister starships, the third nacelle would be added to tighten and strengthen the transwarp conduits that she created. This did have the effect of increasing her transwarp velocity slightly, though the actual effectiveness of the third nacelle addition into this class has been a long debated topic. Tactically, she would be well equipped for a vessel class her size, though slightly less equipped than her bigger sisters, the World Raiser and Hellraiser classes. Containing the newly uprated phaser emitter arrays, as well as both forward and aft torpedo launching systems, capable of firing both photon and quantum torpedoes, no one could say that the Jameson class did not pack a punch. Her shield systems would be the standardized systems of most Confederation vessels of the era, providing the utmost in protective shielding for the class. Like the World Raiser and Hellraiser classes, her secondary hull would be largely devoted to a fighter bay and related systems facilities, which would include a variety of fighters specially designed to battle the Borg Collective. Though the Jameson class had been designed to battle the Borg, the truth was, she did have a minor flaw, which would see her remain in the Alpha and Beta quadrants as more of a defensive and support style Starship class. Though innovative, using the secondary hull of a decommissioned class, what was not widely known at the time was that these secondary hulls did not meet the Confederation's current construction standards. Almost 50 years old, these secondary hulls had been constructed with a much weaker version of the titanium alloy used in all starships, making her secondary hull far more vulnerable to transwarp stress and even battle damage. Of course, the Confederation would classify this defect, and instead claim the class to be a defensive starship design, to seek out and exterminate the terrorist threat that had forced this design's creation in the first place. Launched in 2368, the CSS Jameson's first official mission would be commanded by none other than General Mark Jameson himself, who, at the ripe old age of 89, was still as sharp as ever, hunting down a resistance stronghold and destroying it for the good of humanity. The Jameson class would continue in service for almost 30 years, providing Confederation space with the stability and security humanity deserved. But in 2395, with the 25th century right around the corner, the Jameson class would finally be decommissioned in favor of newer Starship classes designed to lead the Confederation and humanity into the future. Designed as a stopgap measure to protect the Confederation's interests after a senseless terrorist attack by the Resistance, the Jameson class would end up proving itself a welcome addition to the Confederation fleet, earning this unusual class its comfortable place in Confederation history. Thank you for watching today's episode of Truth or Myth Beta Canon. What do you think of the Jameson class and the historical narrative that I've created here? Do you want to see more videos like this one? Well, leave your comments in the section below, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, hitting that little bell icon so you won't miss a single video we release. Want to help the channel make the galaxy safe for all of humanity? Then consider becoming a channel patron, a major help that allows this channel to purchase resources and 3D models to keep it going. The link to our Patreon account is in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and remember, a safe galaxy is a human galaxy.